There's a valley of mountains where the sun rises twice. It shines to dip between two great crags and the peaks to the east. But the sun doesn't go straight up. It rides in an arc, and after a glimpse of sunshine, it is hidden by the peak beside it. Only as it rises further does it spill into the spring sky, higher to the highest peak. What happened in California in the last year has been perhaps a glimpse of the dawn that is yet to come. It certainly came before I anticipated it, only 18 years. But even though a peak is obscured, briefly, the sun will rise until there's no obstacle to obscure it. What happened on a bridge in Selma didn't look like a victory by most measures. But the outrage of the world that behind the discrimination bathed in violence overturned the racism and apathy of a nation. Proposition 8 lost by a few points. A few years ago, that spread would have neared 20. The violence to bodies that once happened in the dark parking lots outside of bars, the violence of spirits done in privacy of an HR office with a declined employment application, the violence to relationships that came with a refusal of rent. These are all being dealt with in the public arena of TV commercials and election results. The fearful and the hateful, usually the same people, had once been free to wage their tactics away from the eyes of the lethargic majority of the population. Now they have to spread their fears on the radio, television for public review. And look how narrow that margin has become. Our task is not to go home and lose. Our task is to ask for fair treatment. We must press for mutual respect. We have to live our lives and never cease to raise the question, why not me? Why not my daughter? Why not my son? We must persist in asking for fairness, equality, and respect. And if the world turns around and gives us these, we will be content. And if the world refuses to be fair, insults our humanity, and legislates against equality, then we must amplify these responses to the whole world, population, and the nation.
That's right.
Americans left alone can live blind and deaf to great injustice. But Americans, if asked to see and hear and think about bigotry, hate, and fear, can't help but rise up. The bridge at Selma was a defeat that turned the tide. Proposition 8 can be no less for us.